People are looking for permission. They're looking for permission in all facets of life. They're looking for permission to be kind, to be joyful, to be vulnerable. Looking for permission from, their friends, their family to make a decision in their life. Now, we are by nature permission seekers because we don't want to live a world that others do not like, that others cannot reconcile. We want their validation so that we know that the decision we're about to do does not ostracize us from the community. I think this concept is very profound because if everyone's looking for permission, who's giving the permission? Who's giving it? The people that are giving it are the ones that lead by example. The ones that go about their life spreading unconditional love, spreading unconditional care, happiness. The ones in your life that resemble a future that you want. Suppose you want to be an engineer. Growing up, you have seen as kids, as a boy, there's examples of a boy engineer. This level of representation then gives you that permission. And of course, in certain areas and stuff, the permission feels seldom there. Because the representation of, for instance, women in engineering is not too significant. So growing up, the permission does not feel like it's there. Because we look to others to find what we can be. We look to others to figure out if we are able to love. The topic of a relationship where who says I love you first? One person has to be vulnerable. One person has to take it upon themselves to talk about the elephant in the room, to talk about love. And as soon as that happens, of course, it goes either one way or the other. The other person either does not love, but on the other hand, the other person can most definitely say, I love you back. But to get to that stage, a certain of vulnerability is needed. You need to open up yourself in order for the world to open back for you. Today I went for a walk I run actually. This morning I went for a run around this duck pond. And I see this nice, lovely older lady sitting on a bench, and I'm running by and I say good morning. And she smiles at me back. And then the next loop around, I say good morning times two, good morning again. And then she chuckles and smiles back. Had I not bridged that gap per se, would she have actually smiled for me? Smiled at me? I don't know, maybe. She seemed lovely. But it's not always the case. These people that don't smile, for instance, they have this inner turmoil they're working through. It's not a you problem. It's a them problem. But when you're able to give them the compassion necessary for them to feel like they can actually find compassion for themselves, suddenly, maybe too, they will smile at someone else. It's mindset is infectious. Because I feel often we don't want to be the one to be vulnerable. We don't want to be the one to give others permission. We don't want to be the one to always call friends, We don't want to be the one to always Like, do these things that we know are important. But sometimes the other people are too busy in their own lives to show you that they care, to put away all their worries and problems and then come and talk with you. That's why maybe they don't call. That's why maybe people feel busy, they're not emotionally available. But if then you're there for them and you can offer semblance of emotional, like, hey, I'm there, would love to chat with you, just an ounce, you can start to penetrate deeper and deeper layers. So yeah, this topic of by spreading love, maybe you're not met with it back. You know, it rings true so often when you're just trying to be a good person. The world has a tendency to want to kick you down. It can, but I think this is the idea of then having the love for yourself, the compassion for yourself through the hard times of being, rejected. There comes a point when rejection stops mattering, when you've just accepted who you are as an individual. Why do I care about getting permission of who I can love when I can just love from like deep inside? When I can care about the things that I want to care about without others having to tell me what it is that I have to. I think we need to operate from a place within us. And when we do that, life just gets so easy. You don't have to wait for permission to come. You don't have to wait for validation to arise. You create it for yourself. You seek out the opportunities that you genuinely want and love the people that you care about. That's a good life. But it takes vulnerability. It takes taking a leap of faith. When I start this video series of me talking to a camera for an entire year and on now, do you think the very first time I created a video, I was at peace? That I was like, yeah, let's do this. This is not scary whatsoever. It's terrifying. It's such a bizarre, thing to do. What if my family members see this? What if my friends see this? What are they gonna think? What if I say something wrong that I don't necessarily agree with? But that's just noise. That's me being too afraid of making mistakes, of not being secure with who I am as an individual. And when I'm able to see these videos, these mirrors of me, me is in it. And I like that. I don't want to create a world that I can see necessarily other people in it. Metaphorically. Of course, I love community. But I want to take their fragments of maybe the permissions that I've learned and then stitch a new image together. I don't want to be a carbon copy of people. I want to write my own story. I want to write my own story of how I lived, how I want to live, the ideas that I've generated, the people that I want to call my friends and family. So, it is to say, please lead with some level of vulnerability. The world needs it now than ever. People are frightened of talking to strangers. People are frightened of even just basic social interaction because they feel like they're going to be ridiculed. But little does everyone know, we are all craving the sense of connection, the depth that we can feel towards the world. Everyone is feeling it. Everyone is longing for it. And you can be the one to provide it. You can help be a wonderful change in this pattern of life. You know, if everyone is compassionate, imagine the world that would be. People just loving for the sake of loving and not being torn down, not like this empty anger inside people. It's just crazy. But I've certainly been trying to lead with more vulnerability in my friendships, my relationships, and the past 2 years my life has never been better. It rings like a bell. It reverberates. It resonates. The past video I made 2 days ago, I talked a little bit about the scaffolding of, a place to build from. This is also kind of part of that. Because when you can lead with vulnerability, you are leading with your truth, your true self. And there's no better scaffolding to build your life from than that. So what if your truth becomes wrong? You just didn't know the full data. You didn't have the full understanding of the world. It doesn't mean that you shouldn't lead with your heart and your love, with all the experiences that you've had available to you. So, anyway, I'm Matthew. Peace and love. Take care.